and the lockdowns, I said when people lose everything and have nothing left to lose, they lose it.
Yes.
And these people, young people, feel, look, remember when we were young, it was always the future was going to be better than the past. All of the polls, the future was always going to be better than the past.
Not
now,
anymore.
the past is better than the future. So if you're a young kid, you're not coming from a family that how blessed we were to have the parents that we had. Maybe, his mother's divorced, his father's a drug. You don't know. They have all this crazy stuff going on, plus all the pressures. You think the kid's going to lose his mind?
It's more likely than not. I spent last weekend at Princeton University for my 50th class reunion.
Wow.
And while there, and since it's been in the papers, I learned that the graduating class, the class of 22, got to vote on who to give an honorary doctorate to. They voted overwhelmingly for one person, Anthony Fauci.
How stupid can you be?
Bright, young, 21-year-olds, graduates of an Ivy League institution, and they vote overwhelmingly to honor Anthony Fauci. And of course, all the New Jersey newspapers yesterday showed him with all of his regalia on and smiling from ear to ear and surrounded by armed Secret Service.
So that should be the headline of this tonight's broadcast. Princeton. How stupid can you be?
Yes.
That shows you again the mentality that we're talking about.
Yes. Now, these are obviously not blue-collar kids.
Yeah.
These are kids who are now elitist after 4 years at Princeton being educated by the elites. There are some conservatives, there are some libertarians there, but the overwhelming majority embraced Fauci as if he were a conquering hero. He practically single-handedly destroyed the economy and destroyed Americans' peace of mind.
And again, the lives and livelihoods of millions of people.
Yes.
Millions. This thing isn't coming back. It's dead at night up here in Kingston. Dead. One place after another, one empty place after another. In New York City, your office occupancy rate is about 35%. All the businesses that depend on commute is gone.
I guess I'm going to have to visit Kingston to see if that French restaurant is still around.
Oh, they're doing great. Another one I want to mention. It's La Canard Chenet.
Right.
Yesterday at Davos, we heard George Soros. This is the George Soros, by the way, as we did in our Trends Journal back in 2014, writing about the overthrow of the democratically elected government of Ukraine by the United States. Soros has been a big contributor to, quote, NGOs, non-government organizations. He said yesterday at Davos, talking about the Ukraine war, quote, "The invasion may have been the beginning of the Third World War." Well, I've been saying that now for how long? But anyway, and our civilization may not survive it. Again, there was this guy by the name of Albert Einstein. When they asked him what weapons will be used to fight the Third World War, he said, "I don't know, but they'll be using sticks and stones to fight the fourth."
Yeah.
Then he goes on to say, you ready? "The best and perhaps the only way to preserve our civilization is to defeat Putin as soon as possible."
I guess he didn't watch that clip by George W. What do you expect? I mean, this is the globalist mentality. This is the Western European mentality. And this is the mentality that pervades the United States State Department and the upper echelons, not the Scott Ritters and Doug McGregors of the world, but the upper echelons of the Department of Defense. And unfortunately, it pervades the White House. And for all of his faults, The only president in the modern era who resisted this mentality was Donald Trump.
Yeah. Yeah, for all of his faults, I agree with you.
Yes.
I believe if Trump was president, this wouldn't have happened with Ukraine.
Correct. I don't know what he would have done, but it wouldn't have happened.
No. And again, we're talking about what Soros said, that to preserve our civilization is to defeat Putin as soon as possible. So now let's go back to Bush. This George W. Bush lied and had all the freaks lying behind him that Saddam Hussein had weapons of mass destruction, destroyed an entire nation, killed hundreds of thousands of people. Now, what if Putin said, if somebody in a top person in Russia said, the best and perhaps the only way to preserve civilization is to defeat Bush as soon as possible? That would have been hell to say that.
Yeah. But it would have been true.
But
Now,
I'm
wait a
talking
minute.
the hypocrisy here.
Wait a minute. Who was standing behind Bush, the one person in the country worse than he? Dick Cheney.
Yeah. Oh, and you look at him. So this is, and then he goes on, a ceasefire is unattainable because Putin cannot be trusted. So they're saying, so now let's go back to that crazy kid that slaughtered these people. These
Same
people are
mentality.
saying, keep the slaughter going.
Same mentality. Same mentality. Soros is saying what the Department of State is thinking and what people with no filter like Joe Biden occasionally let slip out of their mouths. The Secretary of Defense, Lloyd Austin, after he and Secretary of State Tony Blinken had a brief visit with President Zelensky in Kyiv, they then went to Poland to hold their press conference. And Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin let that slip as well. The American goal is to degrade Russia and get Putin out of office.
Yeah.
I'll say one thing for Soros, he's honest. It's reprehensible and it won't work. And it has horrible consequences that he hasn't thought about. But at least he's being more honest than the American State Department is.
But you know, we heard Henry Kissinger, of all people, yesterday also say at Davos that there should be concessions made to Russia.
Yes. Well, Gerald, I don't know where we're going to go. You and I have been doing these podcasts for 6 months now. It's an absolute joy to work with you. But you put your finger on it a few minutes ago. The future is worse, not better. The world is significantly worse today than it was in October when we started. Well, we've been friends for 20 years. But when in October, just 6 months ago, when we started these podcasts, what the hell is it going to be like in September or a year from now?
I know society is degrading in front of us. You know, again, look at the major news that most Americans are interested in. Is this Johnny Depp, Amber Heard? I could give a shit. What the hell do I care about them?
This is the most disgusting jury trial I've ever observed. I mean, I've been asked on radio what I think about it, and I say, you know what? My stomach can't tolerate it. All I do is read the headlines in the Post. I can't read the article.
No.
It's repellent that human beings could live this way and recount the way they live under oath.
Yeah, and again, I don't care. I don't want to hear this stuff. We got more important things to do. So the point that I'm making is that when you see that more people are tuned to this than what's going on in Iraq, I sound like George Bush. What's going on in Ukraine?
You're forgiven.
What's going on with George Bush? What's going on with the abortion issue? When people are more concerned about Johnny Depp and this Amber I never heard of before, that shows you also how easily the people can be manipulated because they are ignorant to the real geopolitical and socioeconomic trends that are shaping the future. They have
Yes.
no clue of the facts.
You're exactly right, my friend. So what do? We keep talking about it. We keep educating people. Your audience keeps growing. My audience keeps growing, and people realize what the government is doing to them and what society has done to them.
We have to take action. We have to do something more than talk. And I don't know what to do. And again, we have to fight for our freedom and justice. And this country's gone down, so again, from junk news to junk food to living in a junk world. Look at the idiots and morons that are telling us what to do.
Yes.
Like you mentioned, Mitch McConnell, Chucky Schumer, Nancy Pelosi. Oh, the archbishop that wouldn't give her communion because she's pro-abortion. How about not giving a communion because she's pro-war? Oh, Jesus would have loved you for that. Jesus loved war.
It's a terrible state of affairs. And the next generation embraces Fauci to make matters worse.
How low can you go?
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Judge. We'll see
Pleasure,
you next
my man.
week. And thank you for all you do, because nobody says what you say with the authority and judicial background that you have to inform people of what's going on, what it means, and what's next. Thank you, Judge.
See you soon, my friend. Thank you.